Hello, everyone. This is Lisa with Inspired Heart Intuitive. And here at this channel, I seek to help you live a spirit led, whole, and healed, peaceful, prosperous life. Well, it is Toxic Relationship Tuesday. I was going to do Google Hangouts tonight and it wouldn't work. So, as for that, hello again. Good evening. Everyone, as we're coming in, please hit that like button as you're coming in. So tonight on Toxic Relationship Tuesday, hello, Samuel. I wanted to talk about, hello, Fran, talk about something we talked during Toxic Relationship Tuesday about how these relationships have injured us, right? We talk a lot about bring from that. And tonight, what I wanted to talk about was something more empowering than just that, right? Hello, Miss Virgo. I will talk about tonight the strength of an empath. Okay? Because a lot of us that get into these relationships, when we figure it out, you could be a male or female, you could be a male empath or not, right? Or female empath. It doesn't matter. It's not gender specific. Spirit is not specific. Okay? I feel like I should move this light back just a little bit so we have a little more light. And too often we say, okay, we've been in a relationship with the narcissist or relationship with this, relationship with that. And, and that's honest to goodness truth. That is truth. But guys, we are so much stronger as empaths than we give ourselves credit. As empaths, we are actually the cosmic cleaners, if you will. We are the cosmic healer. We are the ones that have chosen to come here at this time and in this space so that we can act healing in people's lives and then vibrationally in the world, right? That's what we're here for. That's our purpose. And so we've been giving innate abilities to affect healing, both within ourselves and very importantly, hello, Liam, very importantly, to everyone around us. Okay? That's what we're here for. And to those that will accept it, I'll put it that way. Those that will accept that's what we're here to do, is help them heal. Now, I'm sure all of us felt this at one point or another, being empaths. You walk into a room or you come into a space and you can just feel the energy, right? From just a few people. You get around somebody and their energy is like icky, right? It's ugh. And when we start becoming friends or getting into a relationship, what happens, right? We tend to absorb their energy, right? We absorb their negative energies because we're seeking to heal them. So we're like, it's not out of you, right? We just take it on. And then what happens is we begin to take their burdens on as if they're ours. Right? That's like crazy. We take their burdens on as if they are ours. And when people are feeling bad or depressed, and we get into relationship with them, so it's kind of like that wounded puppy. You take the wounded puppy in and you nurse it back to health, right? But what end up becoming like getting into these weird codependent relationships. It can become very codependent very quickly. And we're going to wise behind the what, right? So I'm just going over some of just like real high level, just what we end up doing. To not stick up for ourselves because we're always seeking to keep the peace and make people feel good, right? That's what our job is. Make people, we feel like the better we make them feel, the better they, we're showing compassionate, right? Yes, Fran, exactly. We're so compassionate in their energy because we feel so bad for them. And we are like, we can handle it. And you're right. We can actually handle it. And we're going to talk about how we can handle it and why. And when we get to the point where we're operating from power, right? Then we're able to do our way. Okay. And then also we take on responsibility for others' sorrow. We say, oh, if I had only just done this, they'd feel better. If I had only just done that, we'd feel better, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, this, everybody, if I were to say, type a 1 in there or put a hand up in the chat, you guys would all probably unanimously, at some point or another, at least one of those 5 things has happened, right? Maybe all 5. If I just feel like it, please type a 1 in there. If any of those 5 have been you've felt and taken on other people's energy, you carry their burdens, even though they're not, right? You get into codependent relationships. You don't stick up for yourself. You're like all 5. And you take on the responsibility of others. So what in the world you might think are the benefit of being an empath? Because we're not meant as empaths. Samuel, yes. Thank you, Samuel, for being transparent about that. Because men sometimes don't want to be transparent about those things. So I really appreciate that you're being transparent about that. Thank you so very much. Again, people, I don't want to mess the flow up here. Thank you, Terrace. Thank you so much. But if you could all just hit that like button, that would be amazing for me, please. What are the benefits? So why the way we're built? Again, because we are meant to be the healers. That is why we came here to this earth at this time, why we chose this assignment, because we felt compassion in our infinite being. We felt compassion for the world. We felt compassion for those that are right now existing. And you might say, oh my goodness, it seems like you can just walk around the corner and trip over a narcissist every second. And you can. And the reason for that is because the spiritual climate of this earth is coming to a head, right? A boiling point. It's coming to a point where things have to transform on this earth spiritually, because the earth itself cannot hold the negative energy any longer. It is time for humanity to ascend to the next level. And because of that, that's why we're here. That's why there's so many empaths. It'll seem like you could, not only will you trip over a narcissist, but you'll trip over an empath. You'll trip over an empath. Now it's not so odd to run into somebody and be like, of course, it's just some conversation. It's like, oh, you know what? Did you feel that with that person? Yeah, I felt that too. Or I just knew that was going to happen. Oh my gosh, I did too, right? People are intuitive, all this. So there's this kind of army, if you will, on both sides that's growing. Now, the benefits of being an empath. Let's get to the benefits. We have intuitive abilities, okay? And the more we learn how to utilize those intuitive abilities, the more you will begin to manifest your gifts. We tend to be clairvoyant, so we see, clairsentient, and I don't want to say omniscient because only Supreme Source is omniscient, but we just know things. We, in some regards, are almost to an extent telepathic. We almost to hello, Steph. We almost to an extent. Have you ever felt like you know what that person is thinking, and you're just looking at them, right? You're just looking at them, or you're just in their presence, and you know what they're thinking. We can be aura readers very easily. We sense, right? Our spiritual radar and antenna are naturally at a higher, more developed level than those that are not empathic. all of us every human being will have a level of an empathic ability, but there are those of us who were just here and chose to have it. We were born with more. And I believe anybody that's watching this and anyone that'll watch the replay, that's you. More. Okay? So very intuitive. We can tap easily into universal consciousness. That's how come you can walk into a room or be in somebody's presence and it's like you can read this, or you read what's going on with them. They might not even say it, but you just know something's wrong. And we've been doing it live, so we don't even think about it anymore. We just think that's how like people should be, right? But I know that I can get into a room or ask somebody and I'll be like, what's going on with that person? I've been this way all my life. All of us probably have been this way all of our lives. What's going on with that person? And nobody else that's around them. There could be 15 other people that be like, nothing, there's nothing wrong with them. And then I pull them to the side, what's happening? And then sure enough, something's blowing up at home or whatever the case is, there is something indeed going on with them. So we can tap into the universal consciousness. There are some of us who are empathic, and there's some of us in this room who are empathic to the point and tap into the universal consciousness to the point we are called to what it has been termed in the church world as spiritual warfare on a grand scale, on a neighborhood, city, counties, state, country, world scale. Difficult. So that's part of being the part of the reason why some of us are empathic is to do that type of work. And we have a greater ability to tap into the universal consciousness. And we'll get more into that in a minute. We're great manifestors. Empaths are great manifestors. Why? Because we can tap into the universal consciousness. We're used to communicating. So we're fantastic manifestors. And because think about it this way too, guys, when you have the ability to take someone's stuff and take it on and clean it up and then give it back, you're in fact to manifest their healing. So the ability to basically birth, whether you're male or female, is an ability to spiritually birth something from within. That's an empath that has the ability to manifest. Don't get me wrong, but we have a greater ability to do it. It is just innate. It is natural within us. We learn to tap into all of this. We're natural healers. Once we learn to trust our own energy, and I'm going to take that a step further, we're natural healers. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't want to heal ourselves. We have to remember, physician, heal thyself. We have to remember that in order for us to be the best healers that we have the capability of being, we need to do a good deal of healing and clearing ourselves. Why? Because do not forget, being manifestors, that like attracts like. Negative attracts negative. So if we have healed wounds within ourselves, we then will end up continually attracting that of injury. We won't be able to heal it because we've done the work ourselves. So the cycle of re-injury and re-injury and re-injury continues. Also, it can be a tad bit uncomfortable to look inside oneself and see what needs to be healed. It is much easier it was a ton easy for me to give all kinds of advice to everybody else. But goodness, couldn't give it to myself and follow my own rules sometimes. Right? So hello, Yesenia. So we're great manifestors, we're natural healers, but we have to remember that in order for us as an empath to truly operate in our healing ability, we have to heal ourselves first. We ourselves need to grab the healing. Physician, heal thyself. And then we also, these are the of being an empath. We also connect quite easily with our spirit guides, our inner guides, and the angelic host. This is part of being a part of the universal consciousness. Look for someone else. You don't work on you, friend says, use the past. Yes. And that's what we talked about last week. Why do we put everybody else first? Right? Why do we put everybody else first? That's unfortunately part of you. But now we're going to take that back. We're going to start walking in our power, gosh darn it. We're not going to sit here and just be doormats. That's not what we're here for. It possess a tremendous amount of power, spiritual, and I'm going to keep saying that throughout the time we're together here until it sinks down into your very being. The ability to more easily communicate with the spirit realm, it doesn't come easily to others. And it's not something everyone has. If everyone had it, there'd be no need for people like myself, people guys, right? There'd be no need for us because everyone we'd be doing something different. Everybody would just be able to talk. There are always visionaries, and that's who we are. We are the visionaries. Yes, we're the healers. In order to heal, I said this back in June, I think we were teaching about empath, the journey of an empath. And back in June, I made the statement then that it's kind of like when you go to the emergency room, right? You go to the emergency room or whatever, or just a regular doctor. The first thing they ask you is what's wrong. When you go to the emergency room, you go see the triage nurse first. You go see the triage nurse, right? Why? Because somebody has to kind of halfway start diagnosing what the heck is going on. That person had to learn how to do that. And then the doctor gives you a diagnosis. Energy we are. Yes. But we have the ability to triage energy. We have the ability to look into someone, at someone, and at least get the beginnings of, when you're first starting to do this, the beginnings of what's going on. Now, the more we develop our gifts, more information we can take in, and the better our triage is. So, Steph, you asked, hey, Trista, hello, spiritually gifted. Steph, you asked, have I ever felt like I didn't anywhere? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello, BB. Definitely. No one said, I'm not saying in the least little bit that the easy thing to be an empath. It's not. And it actually is pretty gosh darn lonely. A lot. That's why I love having forums like this where we can come together, because it can be very, and I will tell you this, I'll be very honest with you. I'm never going to sugarcoat anything. The deeper and higher you go, the more singular your walk is. The more singular aspect of your walk is. Because you come to the knowledge that there's a path you have to go on that others cannot walk with you. Others may have walked a similar path before you, but I can't hold your hand down your path. I can get you to the path. I can get you to the in the road and set before you to the right or to the left. Take your pick, but I can go no further. Every once in a while, people that I've been allowed to work with, I get to come on board and kind of pop in every once in a while along that path and say, "Hey there, I'm here. What do we got going? What are we doing now? What do we need? What level of healing do we need now?" Okay, we can dig in and get that one, that deep one that I was looking at before. We couldn't get it before, but now, even for me, right? There are things that been shown. I can't talk to anybody about it. I just can't. And I had to come to a point where I was willing to do that. And I had to learn to be okay with it. But then I get to come into times like this and get to enjoy everyone. And that's beautiful because I feel I'm at home here. So, the connectivity with spirit guides, with our ancestors, some of us connect better with our ancestors than others. Some of us connect quite easily with angels and speak to angels and are aware of them around us. I just did it because I can feel the angel, so one of my angels that's always with me is Archangel Ariel, and I can feel at this shoulder. And the other one that's with me quite often is, I get a run of Raphael and Michael quite often. It's rather beautiful. Now, so that though plays into our abilities to heal, plays into our abilities to basically wage spiritual warfare. And sometimes I don't even like to call it that, but that's what it is, right? Our ability to kind of clear paths and clear curses, clear generational thing passed down, handed down, handed down, handed down, clear an area, clear a town, right? And some of us are called to literally pray for that. Yes. Isn't it wonderful? Yes. Okay. Those are some of the benefits. Those are some of the purposes. Those are some of the reasons why we're. Now, what I want to talk about is how can we embrace our power? This is all going to keep feeding together. There's a reason why I say everything. You have to learn to step in your power. There are so many levels. Yeah, we're going to keep. Let me get to the stepping into the power, and then we're going to probably dial it back a little bit. Step into your power. When you have stepped into your power, darkness leaves the room. Why? Because you turn on a light. What happens? Does it stay dark in the room when you turn on the light? No. No. You carry light. Remember, light and dark both came from the same source. Dark serves a purpose, and I understood that purpose. I need to bring this light. If I understood that purpose, I'd be pretty darn smart. But both came from the same source. Both came from Supreme Source. This lighting just is not what I wanted. So when you turn on a light, darkness flees. When we realize who we are and our divinity, a few things. So let's talk about this. I want to talk about this clearing thing. So when, I'm sure some of us have asked, you get around somebody or someone's been in your house and they've been carrying around some ickiness, and we go and we burn sage and we soak in Epsom salts, and we turn on our Himalayan salt lamp, which I love. That's fine. And we do all things, right? We smudge everywhere. We do all this stuff. And you'll hear me, and those are all fine. All those are fine. Why? Because they are physical representations of what's happening in the spirit. And a lot of times we have to attach a physical representation so that our mind, we're playing to our mind now, so that our mind can understand what's going on. Because animals do see them as well. Trust and believe your higher self knows whether you light some sage or not. Really, the only reason we do these rituals is so that our physical being can accept what's going on in the spirit realm. We have to have some sort of association. But what if, as an empath, what if cleaner, what if as a healer, we got to the point where we walked in who we are to the degree that we understood our divinity, and to the degree where we knew that simply by making a statement or simply by walking in a room, we exercise our spirituality. And we don't need to smudge, and we don't need to burn, and we don't need to all these things, because we walk in our authority. And there's nothing wrong with having sage. Part of the purpose of this teaching tonight, and part of the reason why, who knows who's going to see it and who knows who's going to accept it, but part of my purpose with this channel, part of my purpose is to help those that have ear willing to hear, to learn, to step into their spiritual authority without the need for ritual and prop. Prop are fine. There's nothing wrong with it until you learn to walk in that authority. I want you to do something. And I want you, hello, Ms. Love Infinitely, good evening. And I want you to think on this and say it out loud and see how it feels. I am an infinite being. I am a divine being. I have been given by God, by Supreme Source, by the Supreme Divine, power, and authority, all power, and all authority have I been given by the Creator. I am a divine, infinite being. Now, if you keep saying, I am a divine, infinite being, and I have been given all power by Creator, by God, insert name there, and you keep saying that, say it now and begin to make you feel. Is your mind saying, are you nuts? Tell the truth. It probably said, you're nuts the first time you said it. Infinite divine being, and I've been given all power by Creator. Keep saying it. Yes. Calm. Peace. You are love. Oh God. 1 second. I'm live. Are you okay? Okay, you come. Oh, okay. Once. Sorry. Uh, uh, I'm so sorry. Uh, You can't fix someone's lack of self-esteem. They have to be willing to fix it themselves. That's all this is self-esteem and what she's seen. That she can't trust men and she can't get over that. And okay, where are you? Mm. Why don't you come to my house? No, I was just wanting to talk. I wouldn't want you to spend the night. Okay. 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 Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Okay. Give me f- hold on one second. I'll be back, guys. I'll be back.